Hey, what's up, and welcome back to the Creative Cult Podcast, episode 11. I'm with my co-host,
Strangelove Jay. What's up?
and our guest, because Corey's out. Actually, why is Corey out?
He had a dinner with his parents,
Oh, okay.
and it was going to run late, and he couldn't make it.
All right. So
Here I am.
Yeah. So we got Corey 2.
Corey number 2.
Yeah.
Corey 2.0.
Corey Landa. So we have Charlie Landa, amazing drummer in the cities, and also a new artist. We've had him on the podcast in the past, so I won't go through the whole credentials and how we know each other and things like that. I'll just assume you guys know that. But you have actually been doing a ton more art based off of your Instagram.
It just, it's a big change, man. I became a painter in the past 10 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if we ever covered it. Like, what pushed you into? You just got bored one day. I mean, with COVID now, it's great that you got.
No,
other
it was
things.
it came right before it. Actually, it started in December 27th. I made this painting and I posted it on Instagram, and then suddenly people were like, "Hey, can I buy that?" I'm like, "Sure." It's like, I don't even know how much I should sell this for. It's like $20, And so I charged $50 for the first one.
You feel like you're ripping them off, or
I felt a little bad about it, but and then seriously, a week later, I had 4 orders, and then it hasn't stopped ever since. It's been 4 orders a week at least.
Awesome.
Yeah. So yeah.
And you've you started off with the traditional cactus, or not traditional, but it was your style, right? You had you kind of did these cactuses, made stickers. Now they're everywhere.
Oh yeah. I made this cactus with drip paint on top of them and stuff, just different colors, just crazy stuff, to be honest. But then I became a little more technical with my paintings, and now there's everything. There's crazy stuff, and there's very, modern art, and check it out.
It's digestible. It's the only kind of art, me being a designer artist, I guess myself, and Jay, you could say you're an artist as well. The only thing that I just can't digest is there's a toilet lid on some saran wrap, and people are like, well, it's what you make of it. I'm like, I can't make anything of that.
Yeah, I don't go that far.
So,
I just try to make it look cool.
Yeah, you definitely do that. It's you can tell a dog's a dog, a cactus is a cactus,
Right.
But one thing I was gonna say is for creative things with the whole COVID. We're not going to dig into it. Like I said before this episode, the last couple episodes, we hit COVID hard. But has it kind of been a fail-safe that you've actually been able to do more painting, because you're not doing music as much now because of COVID? I mean, nobody's throwing events. Nobody's DJing.
I was flying to LA before COVID to go to a studio and make music, and so that stopped 100%. And then I started selling art nonstop, which I was not expecting that, man. So I don't know. It was COVID has been great for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I discovered something new and it's working. So
why don't you could do some art here. You're a talented dude. Why don't you do something? You could do what would you do if you were gonna do a random pick me up? You wanted to be a painter, sculptor. What would you do? What would be the first thing you'd go towards?
I did. I just did it differently. I started flipping houses.
Oh, there we go. Yeah,
that's great.
So now you guys have to collaborate. So inside of the houses, you need to have his art.
You can stage them. You can stage your paintings in my house.
Exactly.
And then maybe they'll buy those too.
Why are these things all cactus themed? Every one of these fucking houses.
I got this person from LA that asked me to do that. She's like, "Hey, can you send me one of your paintings and I'll stage it here?" Because she sells homes for a lot of money, but she wanted a huge one, and it was like $800 to just ship it. And I was like, yeah, maybe I'll wait on that, But yeah.
Well, what's the biggest one you've done? Because I've seen you do pretty large canvases, right?
As tall as me, 6 feet. It's the tallest one. Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, that's awesome. That's a nice size painting.
Yeah.
I'm looking around in here what we can get, because I'm gonna get one of your paintings for sure. I just don't know.
I know there's a space over there.
Yeah, but I don't want to just throw it in a corner. You know what I mean? It's not
True.
In front of the deck.
It's definitely cooler than Prince or Jim Morrison.
Yeah.
In front of the decks.
There we go. Literally just right here, and superimpose my face for your art.
Maybe we just have Charlie make us a creative cult background.
Oh, there we go.
I could do that, actually.
Yeah. So what we do, I kind of briefed you on this before, but we do bits here. And one that we introduced last week was gross. And another one we're going to do, at least we're going to try to do. It'll be the first one we've done, and we're going to do it with a guest. So it might be a little choppy here, but we're going to try it. The second bit we're going to try will be Change My Mind. Going forward, I think we're going to try to do a bit which will be like music trivia. And to explain that, just to give you guys a briefing before next week or the next episode. For that, it's going to be just like music trivia, like anything you've seen at a bar or a restaurant. Gonna ask person 1, person 2, a random thing. How old is Jim Morrison when he died? Things like that. Whoever gets it right. And I think we'll even do prizes. I think we'll end up maybe we'll do a collaborative thing where we can give out little pieces of swag or something. Maybe even like stickers of Charlie's cactus.
We still have to figure out when we're going to give away the headphones and the earplugs.
True. We do have to do that. Yep. And again, for the people that don't know, we do have a little bit of merch left. Female shirts, and we are going to be making more of those Nike and Adidas shirts. So we'll get you one of those shirts. I still owe you a shirt from last time too. So, but the first bit, what you can
they're
go.
dope.
Yeah, they are very.
We got to get a lot of feedback from Rodney designed these 2 shirts. One with the Adidas logo and it says Cult.
Oh
And
yeah,
then it has the crow on it, and then there's the Nike one that says Cult.
yeah. I think I saw some stuff there too. The Nike one, DJ.
Oh yeah, yep. Very similar to that one.
Nice.
But our first bit we're going to do is gross. We've done this in the past. In the past as of last week for the first time. It seems to have a good feedback so far, so we're going to do it again. We're all going to tell a gross story. Anything under the sun, but one single story, not do a secondary story with tangents because I'm guilty of that often. And then we're going to judge each other's story as well as our own. And we're going to find out who the winner is of the 3 gross stories. So I started last week, and with you being the guest, we'll give you a little bit of time to kind of deliberate and trump our stories. But I'm going to let Jay start because he had talked about a story you thought was even grosser than the last one you told last week.
Oh, there's 2. There's one that's just really nasty. It was my brother when he was little, and my grandpa's involved in this story. But
okay, so tell the grossest one you've got.
Well, there's a funny gross one too, and I'm sure that multiple people are. Fuck. Should I tell the one about my brother? Or should I tell the one about?
Tell the one that you're gonna lose to my story. Tell that one.
Dang, I need to think hard on this.
Fuck. All right, I'll tell the one about my brother.
Okay.
So I think I'm like 6 and my brother's 3, or I'm 5 and my brother's 2. And my grandpa was watching us, and my parents were gone for the day. And my grandma, I think she was with them. And so my grandpa's in the kitchen, and I'm in the kitchen, and my grandpa's like, "What's that smell?" And he's like, "Where's your brother?" And I was like, "I don't know." And so the scavenger hunt is going around the whole house, and we can't find my brother anywhere. Like, we're upstairs, downstairs, outside, can't find my brother anywhere. So my grandpa calls, I think he called wherever my parents were, and it's like, "You can't find your Nick, whatever." And he's like, "But I smell him." And so, because he had like shit himself. So he had, my grandpa's running around the house. We're trying to find him, and it's like hours going by now, and we can't find him. And my grandpa's like walked in his bedroom, looked all over his room, and then my grandpa walks out and steps in like a pile of shit, liquid shit on the floor. And like my grandpa's one of those people where he was just like, like gonna puke, and he's like, "God damn it smells so fucking bad." And like he had never swore, like he was like watched his language. And so like he finds my brother in the clothes hamper, covered in shit. His face, his whole body, his pants, his clothes. And my grandpa's the only one there besides me. So he's got to pull my brother out. And he's just covered in shit. And he like sticks him in the shower in his clothes, and he's like rinsing him off, and he's like, "Blah." I still remember. It's so fucking funny. And then my I don't remember exactly what he said, but he was like, "I'm never doing this again," or something like that. But I mean, my brother was like covered in diarrhea. It was just terrible. And it smelled. Nasty, he smelled so bad. It was in the carpet, and oh man, it was bad. He hid for like 2+ hours.
So he was hiding
for 2+
from
hours.
shitting.
He was hiding because he was embarrassed.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And he didn't want to be like found.
God, it'd be so much funnier if he was like 20 years old and you just see him naked in the thing with the ass up and a fucking little clothes hamper.
But yeah, he never like I don't think he ever watched us singularly again.
Gross. All right, so beat his story. His brother, his brother's shit story.
All right, I have two. Well,
You gotta
do you
choose.
want inappropriate or appropriate?
You just have to beat him. Imagine this is like the
more
Hunger
yeah,
Games.
the
of
more
like
inappropriate,
gross
I
the
stuff.
think
better.
I can beat you with this.
The,
one.
the more inappropriate.
So
the
I just can't mention like names because I don't want to, or states because
Okay.
I don't want to get anybody in trouble.
Names or states. You don't want to get an entire state. Don't say it's Indiana.
No, I'm just kidding. But so I had this friend, really, really, really good friend. And he called me. He's like, hey man, let's go out. And I was like, sure. Do you have booze? And he's like, yeah, I'm drinking right now in the car. That's what I'm talking about.
Gotcha.
You know. And I'm like, okay, cool. Pick me up. So he picks me up, and he always had like these litter glasses, you know. So I'm a little tipsy, you know. So I walk in, like I get in. I'm like, just drinking, you know. And then after literally after 5 minutes, I'm like, bro, this doesn't taste right. And he's like, which one are you drinking? And I'm like, this one. He's like, bro, I peed in that. And I was like, what? And then I started throwing up, dude. So I don't know. That was disgusting. That was pretty.
That's.
I drank my friend's pee, bro.
Oh, that's gross.
I've seen P drank live once.
Yeah. And I was in Bear Grylls. I guess I can survive now, you know? Like if I need to, you know, if I'm like alone in like that show, alone, Naked and Afraid, or
At
something.
least you'd understand the taste of it now after having had
that
it.
was like chased with like vodka.
I'm gonna preface and say my story also ends in somebody drinking urine, but it wasn't me.
Look,
So when I was about, I want to say about 12 or I was about 13 years old, I think. Again, so too old to be doing this, but we did lemonade stands, or I was actually with my friend that I'd mentioned in a past episode. That was the one who drank, and within like an hour and a half of a bar being opened, he was in the hospital, right? So I was hanging out with him. He's a couple years younger than me. He's actually my brother's friend. That's how we kind of all knew each other. And they decided to do a lemonade stand. I think 11 years old. That's probably not too young to do a lemonade stand. I think 13's probably pushing it, right? I don't think 13-year-olds are doing lemonade stands. That's pretty fucking old.
yeah, that's too old. Yeah,
That's crazy. That's
they're
crazy.
like vodka lemonade.
So it was the three of us, and intermittently his younger brother would come in and stuff. But so we would make lemonade, pretty traditionally make lemonade. And I know you guys are already wandering. Your minds are going like, where is this? We know where this is kind of going, but it gets gross. So we made probably 4 huge pitchers. You know, the jars that are like this, but like this. Made 4 of those, sold them to normal people. And there was a girl I didn't like, and I'm going to use her name because I still don't like her. She's a stripper. You could probably find her at the shittiest stripper bar. I think she used to be a stripper at there's a fucking place up in like Princeton. Yeah, it's up like past Princeton or something like that.
What's her?
So
wait,
now-
what's her name again?
Her name is Jolene Ohado.
Oh yeah.
Is that really her name?
That is absolutely her name.
Oh,
Let-
shit.
Can we Google her and post a photo of her?
I don't know if that's legal.
I'm just kidding.
No.
But, I didn't
we're
like
not-
her, right?
We're not showing what she
So
looks like.
so I didn't like her. I don't think I'm friends with her on Facebook. If I am, she might be married now, which this might get her divorced. So she had 2 older brothers, same age as me and my brother. She was like the youngest, just a little bitch, right? Her dad was a cop, so you can just you can just assume like her dad is a cop, and he got to do pretty much, or let her do pretty much anything, right? Like she was just like the daddy's angel, but she had the foulest mouth, right? When you were a kid, I didn't even swear. Like my parents would have washed my mouth out with soap if I'd have said like shit, and she'd be like. I learned what the word cunt was from her.
Cunt?
And she was like 10 years old. She's like, you little fucking cunts. Like, this was normal. Like, I never felt harassed so much by a little girl. And also on top of this, I was probably, normal height for a kid around, 5th, 6th grade. She was probably like 4 foot tall. To this day, she's probably 5'1". So she's always been just this small little, and she looks kind of like, have you ever seen the Reach commercials? With the flip back head guy, his head goes all the way back and he brushes his teeth. She looks like the Reach face guy. You want to pull that up, Danica?
All right, let's see that.
The Reach head guy. Yeah, he's just a cartoon guy. And it's like, the only way you could get all the way to the back of your teeth is if you had a flip top head. And it's got this little commercial guy or whatever. But that's actually, it's so generic, but she actually looked like this guy, right? And so I used to be like, I would tease her and just call her Reach, and she never understood what that was. So that was the biggest dig I did to her ever, right? It's kind of like the one up in the top left, but it's more it's cartoonish.
Oh,
than that. Yeah.
okay.
Anyways, so the head flips all the way back. Anyways, getting back to the story, we did this lemonade stand. We had sold successfully a ton of lemonade. We were selling it for 50 cents, and again, it was 3 of us intermittently with a 4th one, where their youngest brother, where he would go make the lemonade. So we thought, like, okay, well, we're almost out of lemonade. There was like this much lemonade last. There it is. Yep. Flip top head right there. So she looks like that. She had a big nose, this really small body, small head, and she had this whiny voice, kind of like this. It was like really like she's pushing to talk all the time. Right?
Just Judy over here.
Yeah, it was very much like that. So landing the plane of the story here. We ended up pissing in the lemonade, right? Which was gross, right? I feel bad for it, kind of.
It's really gross. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, it doesn't taste too well. I'm hurt.
Rodney was a savage when he was a kid. Holy shit!
So it gets grosser. So we pissed in it, and we used the last of the lemonade. It was literally like 50% lemonade, 50% piss, right? And she left, and I think this is probably 30 minutes later, we were tearing down the lemonade stand. And she had already left, got her lemonade, paid for it, drank it, no big deal. And we were kids, right? So we're like, we want to see her drink it. We want to know if she really drank it. Drank it, no big deal. And we're like, oh, fuck, we didn't get any pleasure from that, right? Because there was no, like, vomit or, you motherfuckers, you did this. And we couldn't tell her because her dad was a cop. So she left or whatever. And then she came back and she went back to go get more money. That's what it was. She only had 25 cents because we still made her pay for piss. She only had 25 cents. We told her to go back and get another quarter. So then we were like, oh my God, we can get her again, right? Because we'll like give her more piss. But we didn't have any more lemonade. We were like, oh, we'll just make another pitcher. We actually ran out of lemonade. So it was straight piss. The second time when she came back and she paid the other quarter that we gave her, and we gave her a Dixie cup, and we're like, how the fuck are we gonna make this? It's warm, right? Where it's warm. So she only lived probably 5 houses away. So we put a bunch of ice in the freezer and stuff, or from the freezer and stuff, and put it in there, and we're like, okay, we'll wait until she's coming back so we keep it as cold as we could. And it was still warm, right? Because she lived so close. Came back, and so we gave her this like apple cider warmy kind of like. We put a ton of ice in it and stuff. She's like, I don't want any ice in it. And we're like, well, this is the last thing we have. And she's like, oh, okay. Ended up drinking it with the ice, slammed it. Slammed the whole thing. No big deal with the ice in it. Just said, fuck it. And I think the funniest part to us, that's the end of the story, but the funniest part to us was that she didn't have a problem with drinking piss the first time or even the second time or even say anything about it. It was just that she didn't want ice in her that was the only complaint she had. Is like, I don't want fucking ice in my lemonade. It wasn't that it was lukewarm piss. And she went off, never got in trouble for that. Nothing.
It's like, I was a good kid. I would never say shit, but he pees in like girls' lemonades and stuff.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So,
I mean, no, I don't know.
So we're going to judge them 1, 2, 3. We're going to start with you. You're going to go 1, 2, 3. And again, 1 is the best. So the lowest score will win. So you'll just go 1, 2, 3, 1, 3 through 1, 3, 1, 3, or 3 through whatever.
Lowest score wins, right?
Lowest score wins. Yep. So you want to get low numbers.
Yours is a 2, and so is Charlie's.
I feel like ours is like pretty much.
I have to pick a winner.
Well, you know what?
I think it's it's probably right. I would say if I was going to judge it, I would say either 1 or 1, and then I would say 2 or 3.
Here's the thing. Mine, to me, is the worst because I drank it.
True, yeah. I got to give it to you, yeah. It's got to be him, yeah.
Yeah,
1, I'd say 1,
gross,
2,
yeah.
3, yeah.
But
all right, so congratulations, Charlie. First time on the podcast.
I win for drinking piss.
the bit that I put this under actually on here, because you don't want to give it away to the people that see the notes app like Jay or Corey. I put Lemony fresh. Because I was like, I don't want him thinking it's piss. I don't want him like going, okay, I got to step it up. He's a story about piss, so I got to find somebody to shit on here or something. So that was a bit. We'll be doing a couple more, going forward and stuff. If you guys like these, you're not grossed out, or you're grossed out just the right amount, let us know, and we'll potentially keep doing them. So I was kind of talking to a couple buddies over the last couple days since this last podcast about just funny childhood stories, not gross ones, not pissing in some girl's lemonade or anything like that, but because that there was other things I did.
Worse than that?
The
good kid.
I was a decent kid.
Couple more things.
The 20,000 things I did wrong.
I think we all did.
But for childhood stories, growing up, that kind of got us into this, and I started thinking of like simple things that we did that we probably didn't notice that got us into technology or into music. I don't 100% recall, but I think your mom and your family's like really into music, and your mom had said like you were going to be you said you were going to play the flute or something, and she was like, right?
So she called me and she's like, hey, your brother is going to take piano lessons. What do you want? And I was a kid and I saw this kid playing the flute at school. And I was like, the flute. And then it was like a dead silence on the phone like this. There's no flute. What else do you want? And I was like, drums. And she's like, perfect, let's do it. And then I became a drummer. It's crazy.
So I started like digging into like childhood things, right? There was He-Man and older than me, I guess, was like Pokemon, and there was Transformers, and so
G.I. Joe.
One of the things I think that actually got me into DJing was, which sounds really weird saying it out loud, but it was Tamagotchi. There was these little Tamagotchi pets. The people had like flower babies as well. It's kind of like a digital version of that for the people that maybe are a little bit younger and don't know what the fuck a Tamagotchi is. But it was just a little toy that you had to basically keep alive. And it was like this realization that like reality, which was like keeping something alive like a baby, it was the first time I like processed it can be done digitally to get the same effect of a flower baby that we had to carry around. And they could just do it in a little digital thing. The same thing was like you could take records, you got to do all this stuff, but you can kind of compile all this stuff into a computer, kind of do the same thing. So is there anything for either one of you guys that as kids, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a musical instrument, that was like kind of game changing or like blew your mind? He-Man was huge for me. I was like, oh, this is fucking, I didn't want to hang out with my friends anymore. I just wanted to play with He-Man. But before that, I was like, I got to hang out with my friends, go bike around. And then I was like, oh, there's fucking He-Man. I would just beat the shit out of these things together. Was there any toys that either one of you guys had as kids that were like monumental, you remember?
Oh, I feel like it was like
Power
completely
Rangers.
different things. I just like, to me, it was just creating new stuff. That was it.
You're saying that because your parents couldn't afford toys.
Oh, yeah. No, I had a lot of toys, dude. Actually, I played a lot, and I loved Dragon Ball Z and things like that. But I don't know. I mean, if they can afford a drum set, they can probably afford any toy.
Yeah. Can't afford $6 G.I. Joe.
Yeah. But no, it was not from maybe skateboarding, just like getting into a different style of lifestyle, just different people and hang out with the cool kids.
We need to figure out like what age we're talking about, because it's
that's
broad.
true. That's true. Because I'm talking about 10 years old. That's when
okay.
But I mean,
oh, there we go. There's He-Man. You guys remember He-Man?
Well, yeah, I remember
Here's
him.
the thing.
Oh yeah, there it is.
As a kid, you go through stages, and there's different toys as you grow up, and new things come out.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
You have to figure out kind of what age we're talking about here. Because if you're like 6, I like Avengers or some shit or whatever.
Right.
Or like I'm 8 and I like Star Wars now, and I'm 10 now and I like Transformers or whatever it is.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, because I started like with, just He-Man, like those toys, same. And then, I'm playing Mario Bros. And then from there, I just went to, I don't know, Ninja Turtles. I don't know.
Well, because there's video games in there too.
Right.
Well, so to clarify, like what I was trying to get at is like, there were certain times like there's so many people that are gamers, right? You guys are musicians. Yeah. It's I know I'm an introvert. I can't speak for you guys, but I'm assuming if you're an introvert and you're gonna do a hobby or you're gonna even dabble in something that's gonna force you to kind of become an extrovert in a way, you like it's like a realization, like you said skateboarding or whatever.
Yeah.
Was there anything like that where you guys aren't gamers, right? You weren't like,
Right.
I'm going to sit on
As a
a
kid.
computer. But I'm saying, is there anything since you being a kid to being a DJ that's been doing this for 20 some years and you being a drummer, is there any toys? Is there not necessarily even just toys? Is there anything in your childhood that you can look back on and say, I can kind of see how that connected the dots into me doing what I'm doing now? And that's why I mentioned Tamagotchi, because it's not necessarily something that's musical at all. But it was something where I realized in my head that you can make something that your teachers make you carry around a flower baby that's physical. You can make that digital. And that little realization sparked in the back of my head, like, oh, I can also do this with other things that I like, art and music and things like that. Graphic design, it didn't have to be drawing and stuff. It could be on a computer.
yeah,
and
I get
stuff.
your point 100% because your example makes sense, but for me, no,
wasn't like that with you?
No, it was more like, I listened to music and I saw like Green Day.
You what, Green Bay Packers? You really got into drumming from Green Bay Packers?
Aaron
Yeah,
Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers, just,
on the guitar.
I was like, I want to be like that guy. I'm gonna start playing music. So yeah, it was like more like, I just want to do something like, skateboarding and
And then it just kind of went down the path
Yeah,
you're saying. Skateboarding turned into like punk music, right?
yeah,
And
because
then-
they were kind of went like hand in hand, or
Yeah,
not.
Well, but when you were a kid, you played drums. For me, like, so my dad had a bar in the basement that we had, and he had a record player with a set on a speaker, and there was another speaker in the bar,
Huh.
and he had a stack of records and Lip Sync. So Lip Sync was one with Funky Town, and then he had a couple comedy records that I wasn't supposed to be listening to, like Steve Martin and shit. It was
Yeah.
hilarious.
Nice.
But I used to just sit down there by myself and listen to records,
Huh.
and just put the record on and then listen to it, and then you'd hit the thing and the tone arm move over and you flip it over and there'd be like a B-side, and
Nice.
like they had my parents had a bunch of disco records, and so I think that's where I got into music first, and then I'd always make my mom buy me tapes at Target.
Yeah, that's actually a really cool story.
Was there ever
Like,
any music that your parents like banned from you? I know Marilyn Manson was like a big thing that a lot of people's parents banned. My first experience to like my parents being like, you can't listen to that. And it was before they even listened to it or even knew what it was that I found a CD on the ground, back in the day when CDs were a thing. I was probably like, it was right in the age where cassettes were becoming obsolete and CDs were becoming popular. So when I found a CD, I was like, I have to keep it regardless of what it is, right?
Yeah.
And it was Twisted Sister, and I found it on the ground. I lived over by a creek, and there was it was kind of scraped up, but I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna buy a CD player so I can listen to this thing, right? So I couldn't even listen to it. But my parents saw the album art on it, and they were like, there's no fucking way you're listening to Twisted Sister. That looks like every 80s band, right? But it looked just edgy.
Yeah.
Way before the internet, so they had no idea what this band was. But was there any artists or music that your parents were like, you're not listening to that shit?
No, not for me.
Your parents were pretty cool. They didn't.
Yeah,
really care?
they just, they didn't.
What about you, Jay? Your parents are like, you can only listen to Christian rock.
No, I
Only
my
listening
my
to DC talk.
No, my mom's more religious than my dad. My dad's just like go with the flow. It doesn't matter. He just goes because my mom goes, my mom makes him go. I don't know, one of the two. But I had so when I was in 7th grade, Metallica and Justice for All came out.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then a Slayer album came out. It was a blood pack, and so the CD was packed in like liquid blood.
Oh,
And I had it on my bed. And my mom was like, "What is that? There's a pentagram on there." And I was like, "Oh, it's Slayer." And she's like, "Why are you listening to Satan?" Because I was like, "Oh, they're not really Satanists. It's just a show."
yeah.
And she's like, "So you're not gonna like kill animals and all this?" And I was like, "No, I'm not gonna kill animals."
Where's the cat?
I was like, I want to actually start playing guitar like this. And then she's like, "You're not playing that music in this house." And
Yeah,
so
no, I guess
I'd always have to
if-
go. I'd always have to go listen to it somewhere else. But I'd listen.
If I brought that music, yeah, but I mean like satanic music because my parents are Christians too.
It wasn't satanic music though.
Oh,
It was just.
But they just saw based off the
I
album.
mean, if like a pentagram or something like that, they'd probably tell me something. But if it was just like, Green Bay, no, just like something a little more chill,
Speaking of like albums, I feel like they don't do it anymore, especially since everything's online or USBs. But some of the most excited times I ever had in my youth was when I would get a CD, and it was
Yeah.
And it was like you'd get them from Target or Best Buy or like Disco Round, and very occasionally, like or very rarely on occasion, you would get an artist that would come out with a CD that had amazing album art, or they had a so one of the most memorable albums for me was Tool Anima, and it had a CD that you could like tilt and you would see different things. It was like it had those little lines in it, so you know made it kind of 3-dimensional. And it wasn't like every album was like that, so it was like really cool to see that.
That's what I was talking about with the special edition. Like they read the original Slayer CD, but then they released the Blood Pack.
Yeah,
and it had like 4 extra live songs on it, and then they had stickers inside and all this other stuff. So it was cool to buy those. And then I'm not sure if you ever did this or not, but they had like the Japanese like version of it, and then you could buy those at like No Name or Electric Fetus. So I would go find those because they would release them. Like Metallica had this
in Japanese. They would sing.
No. They just had, it was like it was sold. No, but it was sold in Japan as as like a bonus thing.
Right.
And then you could buy the import, so you'd pay a little more for it, but you'd get all the extra stuff. So Metallica did this Garage Days one, and they didn't release the Bread Fan song in the U.S., but if you bought the import, you could get that song. So
Nice.
I would buy the imports so I could get those extra songs and be like, oh, look what I got.
I know, dude. That was the exciting thing about getting CDs. Like you would get like videos too. Like if you like once you put it in the computer, you're like, damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're too young to know about cassette singles though, because they used to sell them with the cardboard sleeve. And then you'd buy the single, and then there'd be like a B-side where you get an extra track. You're like,
oh, really?
Nobody has this shit. And like you would go, and there'd only be like 4 or 5 in the bin. And if you didn't get there in time, they were gone, and they didn't sell them anymore. Or they'd do a reorder, and people would be waiting to get them.
Wow.
So, and those were tapes, but
Yeah.
because
I mean, I used to play tapes.
well, because when we started DJing, you couldn't record anything on other than a tape player. So if you fucked up your mix, you had to start all over again. It was terrible.
Well, when you started practicing and stuff to music, when you were drumming, did you like how was that practice? You put on a CD, you know
when I
drum
practiced
to it,
drums.
Yeah, I mean, how'd you? Kinda,
No, it was just me on the drums. I mean, back in the day, you could not, if you get earphones on or something, you would not be able to hear. I mean, you play the drums, you would not be able to hear anything because, like, back in the day, we didn't have these or even monitors. Right. So it was just like me listening to like whatever song and then go to the drums and play it, or like practice. But I practiced, man, for 3 hours a day. Like it was crazy. I did that for about 10 years.
Was there a certain song or certain songs that you stuck to kind of learn?
I would I would start by doing like routines where like being technical, going fast, slow, whatever, and then a song that I wanted to learn, and then create something. So it was like I always did like those 3 things. Like make sure you're like faster or play certain things, and then play the song that you want or learn, and then create something new. It was just like that every day.
Did you ever like learn a song or like listen to a song repetitively so you could learn the song?
Yeah. Oh yeah. All the time.
And that's how it goes with DJing too. Like if really good DJs listen to the song, no matter how repetition it is to you, it's always new to a crowd. So that was like something I always did. And I mean, I still do it. Not as much as I used to, just because I've been doing it so long. It's much easier, and I know what I'm going to play and how it's going to work. But that's how I became a good DJ. It was repetitively listening to songs over again, so I know how to mix them.
Right.
It's the same thing with instruments. You just keep, and it's repetition and practice. And
that's why, like, I can, I don't need to practice to play live. Like with the real drums, I can just I just memorize it and then just jump in the drums and play it.
Totally, yeah. That's with experience and all that. But I'm just to getting to being good at what you do. It's the repetition of doing it over and over and over again. And even though you're bored and tired of it, you're like, I've done this so many times. And then you play it out live and you get to see the reaction of people.
Yeah.
That's the payoff.
That's so true, yeah.
So I've asked Jay this and I've asked Corey this on the podcast in the last couple of weeks about like what piece of technology they need to do their job. Jay's a big tractor advocate. I mean, he's been on that forever pretty much, right? Corey, I think Corey kind of rocks with whatever, but
well, he'll do turntables if they're available, but
yeah,
any of the stuff that works with Serato is what he uses.
There's like certain things with me that I have to use that it makes things like so much more difficult if I don't have it. Jay uses these D2s that are pretty specific. I don't know too many people that can play on them. I mean, you can play on CDJs, but obviously you prefer those D2. They're D2s, right?
Yeah, I mean, so when I got when I got this fucking thing, and like the stupid security settings that don't allow certain programs to use them unless you allow them, but I had to basically take my iTunes library that I had built for DJing and put those onto a flash drive and play on CDJs, which I mean, it's not that big a deal. I played on turntables for
But there's some limitations when you're not totally comfortable, right?
I just figured it out fast.
Yeah. So for the question to you, Charlie, is like, is there any technology in the drum realm or live music playing things that you need or it makes your job a lot more difficult? And then going forward, is there anything that you see coming out that's like game changing for drumming? Or you just kind of stick? Because I feel like Corey's kind of like that. Corey's just like, whatever there is, I'll make it work.
Yeah. But I mean, I feel like miking a drum set is a pain now. I mean, compared to just plugging in one chord and playing with electric drums,
Sure.
But, yeah.
And every I'm not a drummer, but every drum needs a microphone on it, or
if you want it to sound really good, yeah. You need mics for every tom or snare, and then usually put like 2 for the cymbals, and then the hi-hat and ride need another one too. Sorry, did I?
Jeez.
No. Yeah, so yeah, that's why like another reason why I think people are not going to be happy like miking drums in the future. When you can just like plug one chord, play the whole thing.
Bro.
Well,
a lot of the mics that are out now are ridiculous and they're made specifically for kits. I mean, granted, you remember the ones with the 3 slots and then the flat top mic that they would mic drums with?
Yeah.
Because it was that like the sound wouldn't go through the sides, it would just be direct.
Uh-huh.
But now they have these amazing drum kit. I mean, like they sell them as a pack. Like you can get them in 8 or 16.
Yeah.
And they're wired with a patch and they sound good. I mean, fucking.
Oh, no.
Did you see the KJ Sawaka video that he just did for that drum and bass? He like did it as a cover.
Yeah.
And the way he has his drum kit mic, it fucking sounded like he was like on a drum machine. That's how good it sounded.
No, I love acoustic drums. I wish we could continue to do that, but the problem is like it's very inconvenient sometimes when
Well, I mean, yeah, we've done shows before, and I know you've done a million other shows with DJs. The DJ Drummer Collaborative seems to be popping, especially in Minneapolis area. The last thing, if you were going to book somebody, you would want is, okay, it's going to take me an hour to set all this stuff up. You mic it, carry all this gear in. I think the convenience is what's going to make the normal type of drumming obsolete, like you were saying.
It's like last time I talked to Charlie, I was like, hey, DJ Charlie, not me, obviously. But I was like, hey, man, can I bring my jam block, like a cowbell type of thing? And it's like, we can just set it up over here because it was inconvenient, I was like, all right, fine. But I really wanted trust me, I want it. It's just sometimes it's easier to not have it, and he just like set up this pad with the same sound and it sounded pretty good, maybe not as good because it's like an outdated Roland that we played with, but it was decent enough for the crowd to like.
But most people don't notice that, right?
Oh yeah,
the crowd will. It's a DJ, it's the drummers.
Because I've had Corey with that fucking drum pad, and he's done that shit with it, and it doesn't sound the same.
It doesn't sound the same. No, I agree with that.
Cowbell, and it resonates, and it's got that distinct sound where
But
somebody
tries
tries to
to like a
replicate
Yanni concert.
No, that's like. I'm just telling you, like when somebody plays it off of digital drum set, it doesn't sound the same. It's like a DJ. Say this, the whole Will Ferrell bit where he hits the cowbell, more cowbell.
Yeah.
So I've seen DJs do that where they have the sound and it's not as loud. It's some fucking backdoor 128 kilobit. I mean, it's not even a processed sound, and they hit it and it's like. Ooh, 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 it's this fucking Price is Right fail. Fuck that.
No, but you know what, too, dude? What I love about real drums is this, like the feeling of it. When I hit the bass, people feel that. And
are you talking digital or analog?
Acoustic drums. And when I play with electric, it's like, just trust the speakers. They're gonna do a job. So it is different. Trust me. I love acoustic drums. It's just easier to do the other way.
I'm just saying when you're playing double foot pedals or you're playing a solo set or something, and you get that feel, and it's that
Yeah,
because like that. It's almost like a hollowed out sound,
yeah,
but when it's mixed right and with a whole set of mics, it sounds phenomenal.
yeah. No, I agree. It sounds really good.
Really short story, really fast. I went and saw Godsmack last September, and the lead singer and the drummer went on a dual drum solo for like 15 minutes. It was on 2 giant drum sets facing each other in the middle of the stage. It was awesome.
Oh, really?
So awesome. I know there's videos on YouTube. I'll show you after.
Nice. All right.
So here's a side story. We go to DJ Tech Tools, EDM.com, a couple other sources for a lot of things to talk about. And I'm dropping this on these guys. They don't know anything about it, so kind of keep it fresh and real answers here. But for the longest time, Despacito was the most viewed video in YouTube history, right? I don't know if you knew that. Hey, did you know that, Danica? Despacito was the most viewed video in YouTube history. What do you think, and if you guys haven't seen my screen already, what do you think dethroned it?
You already know I can see it.
Oh, you motherfucker.
Well, yeah.
Baby Shark. Baby Shark
I
has
didn't know what
dethroned
that
us.
was,
Speaking of that,
what Baby Shark did?
Yeah, Danica loves that. So there's like a Melbourne Bounce remix that she was at, short tangent here. She was at Spring Break and DJ Ron Ron was playing, and it was like a remix of Baby Shark, correct? Yeah, and she's like, "This is an awesome song" or whatever. It was right when it was kind of popping. So, anyways, you were saying about Baby Shark is your favorite song in the world. Now what?
No. So there was Twitter beef between Chris Lake, Chris Lorenzo, and Jaws. And
Like real beef?
oh yeah.
Oh, whoa.
Oh shit, hold on. Let me look this up. It's fucking hilarious.
About Baby Shark?
Yeah. Oh, hold on 1 second here. God damn, I hate this phone.
Yeah, weren't you supposed to be getting a new phone?
Yeah,
So me and Danica both got our iPhone 12s in the last
I got an
2
email
weeks.
this morning that'll be delivered November 10th.
Oh, nice. My sister's not going to get her phone until like
So
fucking the month of Jupiter, whatever that month is.
That sucks.
Yeah, they said it was like, you'll get a phone someday.
I just got a DM from Louis P saying, "Bro, tell those dudes I say what's up."
Oh, what's up, Louis P? Now you're going to see it?
I can't.
See now.
Yo, so we want to get Louis P. He's actually on the door. We want to get him on here. But I feel like Corey has like the best connection with him and, keep it the most, dynamic.
Yeah.
They've actually done stuff together. And you've done stuff with Louis P.
Oh, yeah.
You're doing stuff right now with Louis P.
Yeah,
aren't you?
we're working on in Charlie. We're doing a like punk rock song, and I don't know, something he made, and I just added drums to it.
Louis P. made a punk rock song?
Yeah,
Shut the fuck
know.
up.
I know, dude. I told him to do that like way back in the day. Like I think, well, not way.
Did he
back.
hear?
It
He
was
saw
like about a
MGK
year.
was doing it. Now he's
Yes,
Dude,
yes.
I don't care
No,
what
I was
anybody
kidding.
says, dude. That new
No.
MGK fucking album is awesome.
Yeah. No, I don't know.
Head
I
to
don't think
toe.
he did it because of that. But I was like, I don't know, a while ago, I was like, dude, let's do some rock and stuff. And he's like, nah, F that. And I was like, all right. And then now he wants to do it. So I don't know. It's
What-
cool.
so
it's,
what-
It's a good song though.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check it out for sure. I mean, that's like my being a skater and listening to punk music and like Blink 182 and SR71 and Sum 41, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like that's awesome. It's awesome
Wow.
when it's like what MGK is doing right now, where it is kind of like a hybrid.
Yeah.
a little.
Because here's the
love
thing.
that.
I felt like punk rock was like was kind of dying.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I was like, the next step is going to be, if he comes back, he's going to be more like electronic with punk rock. And that's why I hit up Louis P and some other people. I was like, hey, let's try to do this. But then now MGK did it. So
But
it's
there's
like,
not a lot. There's not a lot of artists.
But
though,
you know
what I mean?
what? He didn't do enough EDM on it.
Oh,
so
no,
I
no,
feel
no,
like
no. Yeah, his
punk
is
rock
more
and
punk.
EDM will be the next thing. So don't do it. We're going to do it first.
Yeah. So you were saying about the beef with Jaws and Chris Lake and who else?
Chris Lorenzo and Chris. Well, Jaws said like "fuck you, guy." I can't find it, but it was on Twitter, and maybe it's been deleted. That's why I can't find it. But so Jaws went to that super exclusive school in LA to be where Skrillex was learned EDM. I think it was Skrillex went there.
Oh, wow.
Wait, he went to school for that?
Yeah, to produce. And then
Skrillex did?
No
Yeah.
way. He's like,
Because I know he was
best.
in
So I was
a
thinking
rock band.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
But he had to learn how to produce, like be a producer, and so he
Sure.
went to that school. Then Jaws went there. That's why I think a lot of their sounds, and Zomboy too. He went there as well.
I want to go there now.
Yeah, me
It's
too.
got to be
man.
very expensive
Seriously.
because they.
15 grand a year. and it's 2 years.
Oh,
that's not that bad. No, I mean
Less than a Tesla.
I don't know.
I want to buy a Tesla.
You can
That's
get
why I
one,
brought it
You
up.
can get them cheap now. But, no, so it was Jaws, and he was saying something about they like Chris and Chris Lorenzo were ripping him for like how he mixed his songs and saying like your tracks sound like Baby Shark, or saying like your mixing and mastering sounds like a baby did it or something, and like, oh hey Baby Shark or something like that. And he was like, fuck you guys are a bunch of bitches, and I'll find it and we'll post it below.
All right, sounds good.
But it was kind of funny to see, because there was times that you saw like Twitter beef between like Diplo and whoever, and they were just like pages and pages and pages. But it was funny to see Jaws, and then because Jaws is like mainstream, I mean more main EDM, dubstep, big room, whatever, and then Chris Lake and Chris Lorenzo are bass house and house. So
so speaking of different artists and stuff, an album I've been listening to recently, and we were just talking about MGK, right? He went from being like a rapper, he was always popular, but he got even more popular, I think.
Why is his hip hop career dead?
Oh,
I don't know. I mean,
Eminem.
He did that beef with Eminem, but I honestly like
I feel like
his
Eminem
rap devil was pretty
made
good.
him, pretty big.
Exactly. Yeah, I think it did add to the hype. Any publicity
right.
is good publicity. But then he did this like punk thing for
And
whatever
Megan
reason.
Fox.
Yeah,
Well,
but it's working, and it made me think of like artists that I admire, that really transcend whatever their traditional genre is. We all know that Skrillex started as dubstep, and now he doesn't do that anymore. I mean, he just does everything, right? But my favorite artist is Diplo, and it's because he did the reason I think he's my favorite artist, and I'm gonna ask you guys who are some of your inspirations, or who are some artists, whether they're electronic or not, that you admire, is it's not such a far reach to go what Skrillex did, to go, do like bass house. He does kind of everything. He does like a bunch of pop remixes and stuff to his dubstep. But like Diplo made an entire country album, right? And this isn't the most recent thing he did. He just released an album that I thought, I was like, is this Jonesy? Like, I don't know if you guys know who Jonesy is, but it's like really melodic, ambient sounds, like relaxing music. He just put out this MMXX album, and it's like so different from the country album, from the one that he did that was, God, what is it? It was with, what is her name? The girl that, she never shows her face.
Sia.
Oh, Sia.
Yeah, it was LSD. It was Diplo, Sia, and Labyrinth, I think.
Yep.
Right? So like these albums are completely different bodies of work, right? And I think any artist or any producer that can do that and still keep a fan base is amazing.
Well,
so is there any artists like that for you guys that like stand out?
That's why I like Diplo, is because he always pushes the boundaries. Like over this last 8 months or whatever, this shit during this pandemic, he was doing live streams, and then they did the Taco Tuesday live stream with Dylan.
Him and Dylan, yep.
And then they were doing it in his living room, and then he was just like, I think he just was like, this is fucking stupid. I mean, I still want to be relevant. So then he released it right after the pandemic started, was the Thomas Wesley.
Yep.
And then Major Lazer just released an entire album.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's out. It just came out like a week ago.
So you'd agree? You think Diplo's up there as one of the more inspirational people?
For multi-genre, yeah.
What do you think? You got any artists?
I
out
really
there?
like Skrillex, dude, because he always comes up with something very unexpected, And John Feldy, he's a producer. Well, he used to play for, like a punk. He's the one that like brought the Used. Like he.
I do know what you're talking about.
This
This is really good to have somebody actually Googling things like they're supposed to be doing. Instead, they're sitting on Instagram.
No, it's fine. But yeah,
talking to other girls about how beautiful they are. Anyway, so John Feldy.
John Feldy, he was the one that discovered the Used. And you know how the Used is always the same, but except for punk rock or like
Right.
whatever you want to call it, his genre. They always come up with something new, and I feel like that's what I like. I like something different that nobody else is doing.
Speaking of the U's, did you hear the new track with Youngblood and
Oh yeah, yeah,
MGK?
yeah.
It's so cool. Like, so lead singer of the U's is Burt McCracken. It's the coolest fucking name ever. Burt McCracken. Come on.
Yeah.
So they just put on
his real
like
name.
his brother Phil McCracken.
Oh yeah. Seems like Phil would be his dad or something. I think like Bam Margera, like his dad's Phil or whatever.
Bam Margera. Have you seen him lately?
Yeah, dude,
Holy
he's-
shit.
Oh man,
He gained some weight, but he's still shredding on a skateboard. It's
is
crazy.
he? Because
Yeah.
last time I saw him, he was doing really bad.
Oh,
Well, he's
bro.
like a-
he was
alcohol
getting
problem,
kicked
yeah.
out of places.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they're like passing out at the bar.
It's
Just-
weird 'cause
Yeah.
he's like what Steve-O was, and Steve-O's like straight edge and like
I know.
this inspirational guy.
well, they're not even friends anymore because
Oh, they're not.
so what I read was that Bam basically pissed Steve-O off because Steve-O was trying to help him out, and he's like, we're not friends anymore. And that just happens with addicts. You have to let your friends go.
Yeah.
It happened with one of my friends 4 times. I was like, I can't be around you. This is toxic. You're a fucking crazy person.
Yeah, dude. That's true.
And now we're the bestest friends ever. And sobriety in their life makes it so that they're the actual real person and not
Right.
this
You just gotta
cocaine
let
fucking
him
crazy person.
find themselves. You know.
Yeah.
And just wait until you like hit rock bottom, and then come talk to me. We'll be friends again.
Yeah, absolutely.
you know?
No, but I mean, like that whole 12 steps makes him understand where they were wrong and all that. But let's go
Yeah.
back to, let's talk about one more thing about who is multi-genre and has taken music to another level, which is Daft Punk, from
yeah?
where they were in the 90s.
Yeah.
Never DJ'd there. I mean, there were certain things that they DJ'd, but they never really DJ'd. They just they produced and they played on racks of
Yeah, but Daft
drum
Punk always
machines.
still does have like a disco-y house kind of vibe, though. They're not like going rhythm to like country.
No, I get all that. I'm just talking about the artists that they use that had created disco. They go and find the roots of the
Oh, yeah.
originators to find those sounds and do those sounds
Yeah, who's the dude? Niles Davis that they did for Get Lucky, I think.
Yep. And then and Pharrell was on there too. And so crossing, and then they're writing tracks for Kanye. They're writing tracks for,
Nice.
fuck.
For the president.
No,
Who's the president?
No, but they were writing.
Kanye. That was sick.
They did tracks for The Weeknd. They did tracks for,
Right.
and so you watch them cross multi-genre paths. Is all I was saying. And they're innovators. They create sounds just like Skrillex. Their sound design is unique, and you know when you hear that song, it's them.
Yeah.
So we're gonna kind of wrap this up. We appreciate you guys sticking with us. Before I ask my last question, I'm gonna do a little ad here with you guys. If you haven't checked us out, and this is your first one, our first podcast with us, thank you guys for checking us out. I'm sure you're checking us out because we got a great guest, Charlie Landa. We've had him in the past, and always get great feedback because I think it's because they're like, he's a super cute guy and he's talented. I've had a bunch of people. I'm like, are you talking about me? And they're like, no, the guests that you had.
if you're not watching, just listening, I'm pretty cute.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
The voice matches.
Got a
the
man
face.
crush over here.
Yeah. But yeah, so you can check us out at tccult.com, or you can check us out on Instagram or Facebook at Creative Cult Pod. That's POD. I know I had a couple people are like pod, like POT. I'm like, no, it's Creative Cult POD.
We like pod too.
Yeah.
Not this guy though.
Charlie, you want to let them know where they can find you, and then I want to ask you guys one more outro question.
Yeah. Charlie Landa on Instagram, and then you'll find everything else from there.
Yeah,
We'll post a
because you
link.
got like
We'll post a
5
link.
accounts. You got like your artist account.
Yeah, but once
got-
you type Charlie Landa, you'll find the 3 of them. Yeah.
Okay.
One is like drumming, one personal, and one art. So yeah.
We'll post your links below.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Sounds good.
Of course we will, because this is something that Jay does. He'll be like, oh no, we'll just pop it up over here. We'll do this, and then I'm like, oh, that's like 3 hours of editing. Cool. No, just put links down below. We'll also give them your
Links.
social security number. And since Corey isn't here right now, for the people that follow Corey or did when he had a social media account, it sounds like he's going to be starting from scratch with all his social media. So right now he has a quid temporary on Instagram. It sounds like he's going to be making a Facebook and Instagram.
Oh, he said he's sick of waiting.
Yeah, it's just taking way too long, his hacked account. So hopefully you guys don't get your accounts hacked, because it fucking destroys your life. But the last question I had for you guys is, you're the artist you are right now, and you're going to be playing at EDC or an equivalent music festival. What artist do you play with? You get to choose anybody, and it's a collaborative thing. You get one artist. It can't be this person and this person. It can be a band or it can be an artist. Is there anybody they're like, you got 45 minutes. You got to wow these people. It's headlining at EDC or a similar music festival. Who do you bring? How do you showcase you, and who do you bring?
Wait. So we're playing with this artist, or
You're playing with this artist or band.
David Guetta. Wait, what? Why are you so quiet now?
Because I don't know if you're serious. I don't want to be insulting. I don't know if you're being serious or you're being sarcastic. Because I know you have like so much more talent as a musician than I do. But I'm not knocking that.
No, it's just easy to play his songs.
Is it? And 128's that?
Yeah.
You do know a bunch of his stuff. Yeah, that 128 stuff when we did the DJ drummer thing.
It's just like, I would say Skrillex, but his music is just, I don't know if like drums would go pretty well with that.
Sure.
I mean, they would, but he does everything already.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
His drums are so unique
Yeah.
to his sound.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. For me, I would say probably Rez. It's the biggest name. I would say an artist similar to Rez, but I know nobody else is going to know who it is. So I'll say Rez. That mid-tempo, 105 beats per minute. I would do that and hopefully play like, if the party closed at, say, like 2 or 3 in the morning, and like that very last set where it's really grimy and dark, and I'd do that.
It actually depends on the night, I guess. And it actually depends on the event. Like if it was a festival.
Yeah, EDC festival.
I'd want to play with like AC Slater or Chris Lorenzo. I'd want to do a bass house set just because the energy is it's just off the hook. That low end that hits people and just gets them in the mood, and the different bass frequencies hits people different. And that's why I just fell in love again with bass house. I mean, Speed Garage has been around forever, but now that it's labeled bass house and there's just different intricacies of the drums and synths and VSTs now versus the late 90s and stuff like that. So
cool. Well, again, thank you guys for listening. Thank Charlie for, it's so weird when you're looking at this and you're like this, but you're actually over here. Thank you for being a guest on our podcast. Hopefully we'll have you back
Thank you for
a million times over. We're going to do, like I said, in the future, we're going to be doing more bits. There's going to be more interaction like with you guys as well. So thank you guys again. And I guess this is the 11th episode and we are out.